Have you ever looked at your family and friends and thought they're getting promotions, they're buying homes, they're traveling the world, and you're just here like trying? I am just comparing myself to everybody else. And what I haven't realized is that because I'm in a season where I'm growing, naturally you want to compare yourself. It just dawned on me that I'm actually in a rebuilding stage and I've been here before. Hey, Royal Family, welcome to the front row with myself, Roanna, where I talk about all things self-development. People have, especially in my community, they have timelines of where you should be in life. And if you're a woman of a certain age, you need to be married with a child, or you need to have this kind of career if you're a working woman. And the noise of social media is exhausting. We are constantly being pitted against each other, comparing each other, and just feeling like our lives are not enough. I think the pressures of watching other people on social media makes you feel like you shouldn't be someone that is who you are. And it's okay to have days that you're you, and it's okay to have days that you're glam. That's just you having a human experience. When you compare yourself to people on social media is where the self-doubt starts. I mean, we look at people on social media with the lens of what we aspire to want to have, right? So, for example, if you're someone that wants to be married, you are going to look at content of people that are showcasing their beautiful married life and feel a certain way about it. If you are someone that wants a particular job and someone's showcasing their career in a particular way, you're going to feel some type of way about it. So the pressures of what we see of people showcasing their lives, their babies, their partners, their wealth, it consumes you. And if you are in a slump in certain aspect of your life, it can feel overwhelming, and it can feel like perhaps you haven't made it yet, or perhaps you're behind in life. And I'm here to tell you that you're not behind, because everyone has their timelines and everything happens for a reason. So for example, if you are in a season where you are dealing with a certain career hurdle and you're seeing all your friends just flourishing in their careers, it doesn't mean that they're not dealing with their own hurdles in other things. So you need to deal with it. You need to learn your lessons. You need to do the inner work. You need to heal, and you need to get past it. Everyone's dealing with something at every point in life. And the point I'm making is that we should not be comparing ourselves to what we see online. In the past few days, I've been consuming a ton of social media. I didn't even want to get up and get dressed today. I didn't want to get up and get dressed yesterday. And I've been procrastinating filming videos because even though it's something that I enjoy doing, I didn't feel like I wanted to do it because I was in a rut and I was feeling down. And then I thought, what if I just picked up the camera and just filmed and spoke from my heart? Wouldn't that be more real than me waiting until I was ready? Because I often talk about following your dream and following the things that brings you joy with consistency and with dedication and with discipline, even on the days that you don't want to do it. And today is one of those days where I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything that is related to my dreams or aspirations or goals or any of that stuff. And I'm in a slump. And I've consumed so much social media that I felt so down because I started to compare myself with other people, until I stopped myself and told myself that this behavior is actually quite ridiculous. And I started to journal and I started to sit with my thoughts with meditation. And I was like, you know what? I am exactly where I need to be in this part of my life because I'm learning lessons, I'm growing, and I am tapping into something that I had never tapped into before. And it's okay for me to feel a certain way, and I'm embracing it. But now that I've felt a certain way for a few days and I've been in a slump, it's time to pick myself up and move forward and get the damn thing done, because life has to go on and I cannot be comparing myself with other people. I have to be my own person, and I have to be strong in knowing that everything is conspiring to make things happen for me. And if I move in life with that type of mentality, I will get through the hurdle. I know a few years ago, I was someone that was dating anyone, and all my cousins were getting married and all my friends had partners and people were getting ready to get married, and I was just there, and people were even saying, shame, what's wrong, Ro? Like almost as if I couldn't get myself a partner get married. But looking back, that wasn't my time to get married or have a partner, because I needed to do a whole lot of work for myself. I had gone through really bad relationships in the past, and I needed to focus on my inner healing. I needed to focus on myself. I needed to spend time with myself and understand what I truly wanted and needed. And when I did the inner work, I then knew what I wanted, and everything then fell into place afterwards. And so it's very important to not compare yourself to other people. As soon as you tell yourself that something is important to you, you immediately will start seeing things according to that thing that you thought was important. Like, think about it. If you really like a certain car, suddenly you will see that particular car on the road because your brain automatically says that that is important. Similarly, with your particular goal or milestone that you want to achieve, your brain tells yourself that that is very important to you. So if you go on social media, if you're talking to people, whatever the case is, you're going to meet people or see people that have achieved that particular milestone or that particular goal that you're thinking about or that you're aspiring to. And that can make you feel like you need to compare yourself to that person, especially if they are already successful in it. What you need to know is that everything that you're going through now is making you ready to achieve what you want. Because if you're not getting it right now, it means that you are not ready yet. And as soon as you learn what you need to learn, that's when you can take the next step to getting closer. Because when you're in an abundance mindset and you're thinking that everything is a lesson and I need to learn the lessons that I need to learn very quickly in order to get to the next step that is closer to my goal, that is more helpful than saying, oh, I hate the way I can't get this right. I hate that I'm slow to get this. I hate that I'm just not doing it. Like not feeling worthy enough to get it. And that abusive talk is the thing that's actually delaying you in achieving your goal and your milestone. And I think with that, we have an invisible pressure of, oh, you're late, because we think about timelines, especially within my community. If you're a certain age, oh, when are you getting married? And then when are you having kids? And what job do you have? Oh, you're just this. And there's so much judgment around what you're doing that no matter what you do, it will always be frowned upon by Auntie Neelam because she is always judging you. What I've learned the hard way is that I should not give an F about anything anyone thinks about me or dreams for me, because that's not my business. What I need to care about is me and what is good for me in this moment in time, in my present moment, things that I need to do to get to a different place, and I'm working hard. But that doesn't mean that I have to now compare myself to person X, Y, or Z because they are more successful than me. And if I don't learn those things, if I don't do the inner work, I will stay in this place and I won't move. And I think that's the key. It shouldn't be, oh my God, I can't believe so-and-so is only 25 years old and doing so much. And here I am, 55 years old, and I don't have this, this, and this. Like, who does she think she is? And there's so many people in the world that move around with misery because they compare themselves with other people, and then they're so unhappy with themselves that they project on other people. And in order for you not to project in a negative way, in order for you not to be jealous, you have to stay in your own lane. You have to focus on your own goals. You have to do the inner work. You have to be learning. You have to be growing. You have to feed yourself with the things that you need to feed yourself to get out of the rut. Because if you don't do it, you will stay in the same position and no one will be able to pull you out of it. So instead of comparing yourself to somebody else, rather shift comparison to curiosity. Get to know how this person is doing whatever they're doing that's making you feel a certain type of way. Study them, because when you study them from a position of learning and curiosity, you will learn a hell of a lot from them. And when you learn all those things from them, you can perhaps use them as tools for your own growth. And in the process, you develop something called humility. And with that humility will come even more growth for where you want to be. And sometimes in that curiosity of learning from other people and being curious enough, not inquisitive, Curiosity in terms of learning from those who have what you want. It teaches you things that you may not necessarily think you needed. And it also may even trigger something that you may not even have thought of ever. So for example, if you really wanted to be a really good dancer and you were not getting it, you were not getting the accolades that you wanted, you were not getting the recognition that you wanted, but you kept looking at these people that were really excellent dancers and they were getting the accolades and they were getting the recognition. Then you switched from a comparison mindset to a curiosity mindset and you started to study them. What were they like? What was their day in their lives? How did they tackle dance? How did they practice? What technique did they use? Suddenly you realize that, hey, there were certain behavioral traits that they adopted that gave them the discipline to propel them to where they are now. And then you learn from them, and then you can use some of those tips in the way you practice or in the way you create discipline in your life. And then you get an idea for a choreography or a production that you never would have thought about had you not been studying them. And then you realize that perhaps you have a small talent in this area of dance, and not only just performance art, but you also have a talent in choreography or production. And then suddenly you're diversifying your love for dance. So I use that as a simple example, but that is basically what I mean when I'm saying be curious enough to study people that you want to be like, and then you can learn from them. And in that learning, it may not happen all the time. Sometimes it can happen that you find something else that you might be passionate about that you would have never thought about yourself if you were just in that comparative mindset. You've got to always ask yourself, what is my path teaching me? What am I supposed to learn right now in this moment in time? And the best thing that I use is journaling. It helps me because I write everything down that's in my brain. And then I do a lot of studying of people that already have the thing that I want. And then I get curious and hungry enough. And then I look at myself again and I'm like, okay, what is it that I could have done differently? I also learned that maybe there's things that I did okay and it is just the way it is. But that introspection is so vital in you getting over being comparative and being willing to accept the stage that you are in life, and also facilitate positivity in your thought process so that you can say, I am in the space where I'm not achieving my goal yet. However, I am learning, I am growing, I am pivoting, and I am stepping into a better version of myself because whatever I was doing clearly wasn't working. So now that I'm doing the work to change those things, I am more ready to receive what I want to get. And when you approach things with that positivity and that kind of mindset, you will see the doors open and you will see life with more abundance than life with restrictions and woe is me and life is just not favoring me and everybody else has things and I don't have things and what about me? The best way to stop feeling behind is also to put your own timelines to things. Instead of comparing yourself to other people, say to yourself, in 6 months, I will do X, Y, and Z. Also be reflective with your timelines. What have I done in 6 months and what are my learnings? Where was I a year ago? Was I in a better place? Was I in a worse place? And the answer should always be that you are better than you were yesterday. And if you are not, then you need to learn some things. Because if you're not in a better place than you were in yesterday, that means that you need to learn lessons. Because if you're experiencing something over and over and over again, it's not happening by chance. It means that you need to learn something. You know, the first time the lesson will come as a whisper and you ignore it. Then it comes as a slap and then you ignore it. And then you get hit upside the head for you to learn the damn lesson. Either which way, life is going to teach you a lesson and you need to learn the lesson, because if you don't learn the lesson, you ain't gonna grow. I'm gonna say that again. If you don't learn the lesson, you ain't gonna grow. What you're seeking when you're feeling behind is peace. You're seeking peace, success, you're seeking happiness, you're seeking fulfillment. Yes, you may be seeking monetary value, social standing, but I think ultimately one is seeking happiness and peace. And so when you step back and you look at what is it do I actually want at the end of this, that I want to be happy, I want to earn a certain salary. Envision yourself being this person, because when you do these practices, you're kind of tricking your psyche as well. And if you constantly move with that in your head, that no matter what, it's going to work out for me. I am getting to where I'm going to get to. And the thing that I'm going to get to is going to be so great. And there's space for all of us at the top. There's space for all of us to achieve whatever it is that we want to achieve. The next obvious thing is to know when to change the course. Just because something is hard doesn't mean it's wrong. But if something is draining, if it's toxic, if it is not aligned, then perhaps it's time to let that go. And that means pivoting and looking at things from a different lens. You got to ask yourself, is this thing building me or is it breaking me? And if it's breaking you, let that thing go. Because if it's not building you and it's breaking you and it's making you a worse version of yourself, that needs to go. And it's hard sometimes, because sometimes we can just keep pushing on the thing that's actually not for us. And then we get so many signs from the universe until you make the change. So if the sooner you realize what you need to change and where you need to pivot, the better it is for your growth and your potential. You got to be really honest with yourself and understand the difference between reinvention, redirection, and resistance. And believe that this growth is going to produce the right results for me, because growing is the pruning stage. It requires a lot of work, because without it, you can't function at your best self when you achieve the thing that you're supposed to be achieving. I also stayed in things that I should not have stayed in for far too long, because I may have been in situations where I thought it was the safer option. I think I wasn't brave enough to explore what I wanted to explore. And then in my case, I was shoved upside the head by the universe, kicked up the butt, to realize that that was not for me. And then I needed to change and I needed to pivot. I couldn't believe that I put myself in a rut for these couple of days, because I was just like, I've been here before and I've overcome it, and why am I still in this vibrational energy? And then I also realized that I'm human and I'm going to have ups and downs, and I'm going to have replays of situations. I'm going to have replays of feelings. And I need to learn something for this particular thing that I'm in a rut for. And that's okay, because I'm learning it and I'm growing and I'm going to move. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to be positive. I'm still going to show up for my dreams, and I'm still going to do the damn work. And what I need to expect is that this season is not punishment. It is preparation. And the truth about building seasons is that it can feel extremely slow. It's extremely lonely. It's quiet, because you have to do the inner work. And doing the inner work is a lonely process, because you're getting to know yourself better. It's a place where you're not reaping any fruits. You're just building, learning. Sometimes even failing and getting up again and building. So it's a very lonely space, and it can become negative if you allow it to. That's why you got to tell yourself that I am going to achieve it, and this is just the rebuilding stage, and I'm just in this period, and I'm hanging on for dear life, and I'm doing the damn thing, and I'm positive, and I'm going to get it because I'm doing the work. You're unlearning toxic patterns and behaviors. You're focusing on self-trust and validation. So you're getting unstuck so you can be prepared. You're pushing yourself out of its comfort zone. And we all love to be comfortable. We all love routine in the thing that makes us feel comfortable. But we have to find joy in being uncomfortable, because that's where growth happens. And when you start working towards the growth, you start embracing that next stage of growth or rebuild. You start redefining progress and saying that even emotional growth is valid. You stop comparing. You celebrate your wins. You journal. You sit with yourself. You ask yourself the questions. You do the work that needs to be done. And you say it out loud. I'm not late. I am in alignment with what needs to be done. I am exactly where I need to be. I am at the right place at the right time. And when you do that, your mindset starts shifting. You understand that the journey is yours for the taking.
It's not about anyone else, because nobody else can have the journey that you have. It's your journey. It's your unique selling point, USP, right here. Nobody can have this journey, only you. And that's why you're special. And that's why you can't compare yourself to anybody else, because this is you. And growth takes time, because a caterpillar was going through the most before it became a butterfly. You, honey, are a caterpillar. We focus on building roots, because the roots will cement us and keep us strong for when we need to grow. So when you're starting to compare yourself to other people and then you start feeling like, woe is me, I hate my life, remember, you are the only person in this world and there's no one else like you. So there's no need to compare yourself. You are also in a rebuilding stage, and there's things that you need to do in the stage to get out of the rut, to see growth. Ask yourself the questions, do the inner work, and you will see the light at the end of the tunnel. Trust your timeline when it is quiet, and believe without a shadow of doubt that it is going to happen for you. I thank you so much for spending time with me. We'll do this again next week. Cheers.